The awakening of Jörmungandr. The Defiance hung in the darkness of space, its obsidian hull absorbing nearby starlight rather than reflecting it. At just under 400 meters, it was tiny compared to the behemoths that the galactic powers fielded, but size wasn't everything. Captain Ilara Voss knew that better than most. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension evident in her clenched jaw. The bridge crew, all 16 of them, worked with quiet efficiency at their stations. This deep in the void between systems, stealth was paramount. Lieutenant Commander Wei, her XO, glanced up from his console. "All systems nominal, Captain. Quantum drive at standby. Stealth systems operating at 97% efficiency." "And our package?" Ilara asked, her eyes never leaving the main view screen. "Secure and ready," Wei replied, his voice dropping to just above a whisper, though everyone on the bridge was cleared for the mission. "Jörmungandr sleeps, but it can be awakened at your command." Ilara nodded, memories of new anchorage flashing unbidden through her mind. The colony had been home to over 30,000 humans, scientists, farmers, teachers, children. Now it was nothing but radioactive dust, caught in the crossfire of the latest skirmish between the Varaxian Imperium and the Zith Collective. Both alien powers had issued formal apologies, offered token reparations, and considered the matter closed. Earth had accepted their apologies publicly. Privately, the United Earth government had authorized Project Jörmungandr. "The Varaxian border fleet is holding position at the Calliope Nebula," reported Lieutenant Santos from Tactical. "No sign they've detected us." "And the Zith?" 3 cruiser squadrons conducting exercises in the Mazar system. Standard patrol patterns, no unusual activity. Ilara allowed herself a thin smile. "They're not looking for us. They never do." The major powers of the galaxy, the Varaxians with their crystalline exoskeletons and energy manipulation technologies, the Zith with their hive minds and bioships, the Noor Confederacy with their temporal manipulation, and a dozen other species, all considered humanity a minor race. Barely 2 centuries into their interstellar expansion, humans were tolerated rather than respected, their territories and interests an afterthought in the great game of galactic politics. That was about to change. "We're approaching the coordinates," Wei announced. "Jörmungandr sector in sight." On the view screen, space itself seemed to warp and twist. Conventional sensors showed nothing unusual, but the specialized quantum detectors that Earth's scientists had developed revealed the truth: a nexus of space-time, a junction where reality was thin. The perfect place to hide something massive. "Begin awakening sequence," Ilara ordered. Wei entered his authorization code, followed by the ship's chief engineer and then Ilara herself. 3 keys to turn, metaphorically speaking. The ship's AI confirmed their identities, their voice patterns, their DNA, and the subtle neural patterns that couldn't be duplicated or coerced. "Package awakening initiated," the AI announced. Estimated completion time: 12 minutes. Ilara opened a shipwide channel. "All hands. This is the captain. We are now commencing Operation Fenrir." Battle stations. Throughout the ship, crew members moved with purpose. The Defiance might be small, but its 100 crew members were the best Earth had to offer, and the ship itself represented the pinnacle of human engineering. Stealth systems based on light and gravity manipulation. Hull plating interwoven with exotic matter capable of absorbing incredible amounts of energy. Quantum weaponry that could bypass conventional shields. None of it would matter against a concentrated attack by either the Varaxians or the Zith, let alone both. But that wasn't the Defiance's purpose. They were just the key to unlock something far greater. "Captain," Santos called out, tension evident in his voice. "Contact. Varaxian patrol ship on an intercept course. They must have detected our quantum signature." Ilara cursed under her breath. "Time to intercept. 8 minutes at their current acceleration. Time until Jörmungandr is fully awakened." 9 minutes, 40 seconds, Wei replied. Ilara's mind raced through the options. They could accelerate, try to reach the activation point before the Varaxians intercepted them, but that would only attract more attention. They could fight, but even a patrol ship outgunned them significantly. Maintain course and speed, she decided. Lieutenant Santos, prepare to deploy countermeasures on my mark. Commander Wei, can we partially activate Jörmungandr? Wei consulted with the ship's eye. We can bring the outer shell online in approximately 3 minutes. It won't have full capabilities, but it might be enough to deter a single patrol vessel. Captain, Wei whispered. Outer shell activation complete. We have minimal defensive capabilities online. Ilara nodded slightly. Commander Thrax, we are a scientific vessel. Powering down in deep space would endanger my crew. Surely we can reach an accommodation that. Your objections are noted and dismissed. Thrax interrupted. You have 2 minutes to comply before we open fire. The communication cut off. Ilara turned to Wei. Status of Jörmungandr. 6 minutes until full activation. The outer shell is responding to commands, but the core systems remain in standby mode. Ilara made her decision. Helm, adjust course 3 degrees port. Let's give our Varaxian friends something to look at. Lieutenant Santos, be ready with those countermeasures. The Defiance shifted slightly, altering its trajectory just enough to bring a specific region of seemingly empty space into the Varaxians' direct sensor path. Varaxian vessel is charging weapons, Santos reported. They're locking onto us. Now, Mr. Santos, Ilara ordered. Show them Jörmungandr's teeth. Santos activated a specific sequence. In the space ahead of them, something massive began to appear, like a mirage taking solid form. The space-time distortion resolved into a colossal structure, a titanic ring nearly 1,000 kilometers in diameter, its surface dotted with what appeared to be weapons emplacements. It wasn't fully operational yet. The weapons were offline, the defensive systems still initializing. But the Varaxians couldn't know that. Open channel, Ilara commanded. When the communications officer nodded, she continued. Commander Thrax, as you can see, we are indeed here on legitimate business. This is a joint research installation constructed under Article 47 of the Galactic Compact. I suggest you withdraw to a safe distance while we complete our activation procedures. There was a long pause before Thrax responded. Our sensors detect no energy signatures consistent with a station of that size. What deception is this? No deception, Commander. Merely human ingenuity. The station uses quantum phase technology to remain undetectable until activated. A security measure, you understand. Another pause. We are scanning the structure now. Our readings are inconclusive. Of course they were. Jörmungandr wasn't truly a space station. That was just its outer disguise, a shell to hide its true nature. But the Varaxians didn't need to know that. Captain, Wei whispered urgently. Full activation in 3 minutes, but we're detecting additional Varaxian signatures. They've called for reinforcements. Ilara's expression remained neutral, but inwardly she cursed. Commander Thrax, I must insist that you withdraw your vessel to a minimum safe distance of 500,000 kilometers. The activation sequence generates significant spatial distortions that could damage your ship. We will maintain our position, Thrax replied, his tone now cautious but stubborn. If this is truly a research station, you will not object to a delegation coming aboard to verify its purpose once it is activated. Of course, Ilara lied smoothly. We welcome inspection under compact regulations. However, for your own safety, I must insist you withdraw to the specified distance. The choice is yours, Commander, but I cannot guarantee your vessel's safety if you remain at your current position. The tactical display showed the Varaxian ship holding position, but not advancing further. The reinforcements were still at least 20 minutes away, more than enough time. 1 minute to full activation, Wei announced. Ilara nodded. Commander Thrax, this is your final warning. We are beginning the final activation sequence now. The spatial distortions will begin in approximately 50 seconds. Whether convinced by her warning or simply unwilling to risk his ship without backup, Thrax finally relented. We will withdraw to the recommended distance, human. But be warned. If we detect any aggressive actions from your research station, we will respond with overwhelming force. Understood, Commander. Defiance out. Ilara signaled for the communication to be cut. Status of JÖRMUNGANDR. Activation at 95%. Way reported. Core systems coming online now. On the view screen, the massive ring structure began to pulse with energy, patterns of light racing along its circumference. At its center, space itself seemed to fold inward, creating what appeared to be an artificial wormhole. But it wasn't a wormhole. It was something far more complex. Activation complete. Wei announced, a note of awe in his voice. JÖRMUNGANDR is awake. Ilara felt a chill run down her spine. The project had been theoretical until this moment, equations and simulations and prototype tests. Now it was real, and the galaxy would never be the same. Begin Phase 2, she ordered. Let's show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. As if responding to her words, the structure at the heart of JÖRMUNGANDR expanded, the apparent wormhole widening. From within emerged a ship, sleek, black, and impossibly large. 2 kilometers from bow to stern, bristling with weapons beyond anything the Viraxians or Zith possessed. But it wasn't just one ship. Behind it came another, and still more. An armada emerging from what seemed like nowhere. The Viraxian vessel is broadcasting on all frequencies, the communications officer reported. They're demanding explanations and issuing warnings. Ignore them, Ilara replied. Establish connection with the flagship. The view screen shifted to show the bridge of the lead vessel. A man in a uniform similar to Ilara's, but with additional insignia, nodded in greeting. Captain Voss. Right on schedule. Admiral Chen, Ilara acknowledged. JÖRMUNGANDR is fully operational. The Midgard fleet has been successfully deployed. Admiral Chen's expression was grim but satisfied. Excellent work, Captain. Earth sends its regards. Phase 3 begins now. The galaxy thought they could dismiss us. They're about to learn otherwise. Ilara nodded, thinking again of New Anchorage and its 30,000 souls. Yes, sir, they certainly are. When humans strike back, Admiral Chen's flagship, the Retribution, dwarfed the Defiance. It was less a vessel and more a mobile fortress, constructed in secret within Earth's most secure shipyards, then hidden within JÖRMUNGANDR, humanity's greatest technological achievement. The Midgard fleet continued to emerge from the spatial fold, 20 capital ships, each with its complement of escorts and fighters, an armada that, until this moment, the galaxy's powers hadn't known existed. The Viraxians are broadcasting on all frequencies, Lieutenant Santos reported. They're demanding we identify ourselves and explain our presence. Their reinforcements have changed course and are accelerating. Ilara had transferred to the Retribution's bridge at Admiral Chen's request, leaving Commander Wei in charge of the Defiance. She now stood beside the Admiral as he surveyed the tactical display. Let them come, Chen said, his voice level. Commodore Wright, deploy the fleet in Formation Delta. Captain Voss, open a channel to both the Viraxian and Sith command networks. Sir, Ilara acknowledged, working with the communications team. Channel open, broadcasting on all frequencies with translation software active. Admiral Chen stepped forward, his posture straight, his gray-streaked hair and weathered face reflected in the view screen. This is Admiral David Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. 3 months ago, a human colony on New Anchorage was destroyed in what both the Viraxian Imperium and the Zith Collective claimed was collateral damage from your ongoing border dispute. 30,000 civilians died. Your governments offered apologies and considered the matter closed. He paused, his eyes hard. We do not consider the matter closed. The Midgard fleet has been dispatched with the full authority of the United Earth government to enforce new security protocols in this sector. We are establishing a demilitarized zone encompassing the former New Anchorage colony and surrounding systems. Any military vessels entering this zone without explicit Earth permission will be considered hostile and engaged accordingly. The response was immediate and predictable, outrage from both the Varaxians and the Zith. Their translated messages filled multiple communication channels. This is an outrageous violation of sovereign territory. Humans have no authority to establish such zones. Your primitive fleet will be obliterated if you persist in this insanity. Admiral Chen let them vent for precisely 30 seconds before gesturing for the channels to be muted. As expected, Captain Voss, is the demonstration package ready? Yes, Admiral, Ilara confirmed. The unmanned probe is prepared for deployment to these coordinates. She indicated a point in space equidistant from the approaching Varaxian reinforcements and the nearest Zith patrol. Deploy. A small, seemingly insignificant probe launched from the Retribution, accelerating rapidly toward the designated coordinates. Both alien fleets detected it and began scanning, but largely ignored it, focusing instead on the unexpected human armada. The Varaxian battle group will be in weapons range in 6 minutes, Commodore Wright reported. The Zith are scrambling additional forces from the Mazar system. Estimate their arrival in approximately 15 minutes. More than enough time, Chen replied. Status of the probe. Reaching designated coordinates now, Ilara answered. Activating in 3, 2, 1. The probe, barely the size of a shuttle, suddenly expanded its energy signature exponentially. A sphere of distorted space formed around it, growing from meters to kilometers in seconds. What is that? Demanded one of the Varaxian commanders, their message breaking through the communication blocks. Admiral Chen reopened the channel. That, Commander, is a demonstration of dimensional folding technology, a miniaturized version of what powers JÖRMUNGANDR. This particular application creates a localized spatial distortion that nullifies all energy patterns within its radius. In approximately 30 seconds, your approaching vessels will enter its effect range. When they do, their engines, weapons, shields, and life support will cease functioning. The Varaxian commander's voice became urgent. This is madness. You cannot. We can, and we will. Chen interrupted. You considered 30,000 human lives an acceptable loss. Now we will show you the cost of such calculations. True to Chen's word, as the leading Varaxian vessels entered the expanding sphere, their engines flickered and died. The ships drifted, powerless, within the distortion field. As you can see, Chen continued, your vessels are disabled but not destroyed. Their crews will survive. Unlike our colonists. Once we have made our point, we will deactivate the field and allow you to retrieve your ships. Consider this mercy, something you did not extend to New Anchorage. The bridge of the Retribution fell silent as both alien powers processed what they were witnessing. Ilara glanced at Admiral Chen, noticing the tight control he maintained over his expression. This was not a man celebrating victory. This was a man doing what he believed necessary to protect his people. The Zith Collective is requesting emergency communication, the communications officer announced. Their primary nexus is connecting directly. Put them through, Chen ordered. The view screen shifted to show a Zith in their diplomatic form, a vaguely humanoid shape composed of a translucent, gelatinous substance shot through with pulsing neural networks. When they spoke, their entire body fluctuated with patterns of light. Admiral Chen, this demonstration is concerning. You must understand that the technology you are deploying violates multiple provisions of the Galactic Compact. As did the destruction of New Anchorage, Chen replied evenly. Yet there were no consequences for that violation. An unfortunate accident, the Zith representative countered. One that will not be repeated, Chen stated firmly. The United Earth government has authorized me to inform both the Imperium and the Collective that effective immediately, All systems within 20 light-years of human colonies are declared protected zones. Furthermore, we are demanding seats on the Galactic Council with full veto rights regarding any military actions near our territories. The Zith representatives' body pulsed rapidly, their equivalent of agitation. Such demands are unprecedented. The Council will never agree. They will, Chen said with absolute conviction, because the alternative is unacceptable to all parties. The technology you've witnessed today can be deployed on a much larger scale. We possess the capability to create distortion fields encompassing entire star systems. This wasn't entirely true, not yet anyway. The energy requirements for such a feat were currently beyond Earth's capabilities. But the alien powers didn't need to know that. You threaten the peace of the galaxy, the Sith accused. No, Chen responded firmly. We are enforcing it. Humanity has been patient. We have followed your rules, accepted your restrictions, endured your condescension. That ends today. The tactical display updated, showing additional Zith vessels changing course, away from the human fleet. The Viraxians are also withdrawing, Santos reported. They're requesting retrieval assistance for their disabled ships. Granted, Chen ordered. Deactivate the distortion field and allow them to recover their vessels. As the orders were carried out, Ilara stepped closer to the Admiral. Do you think they'll agree to our terms? She asked quietly. Chen's expression remained stern. They'll debate, threaten, and posture. But yes, ultimately they'll agree. We've demonstrated that we possess technology they don't understand and can't counter. More importantly, we've shown we're willing to use it. And if they call our bluff, the full-scale distortion field isn't actually operational yet. Then we'll have to accelerate the timetable, Chen replied. But I don't think it will come to that. The galaxy's powers operate on risk calculation. We've just dramatically changed their math. 3 days later, Ilara stood beside Admiral Chen in the observation lounge of the Retribution, watching as ships from across the galaxy arrived at the newly established neutral station near JÖRMUNGANDR. The emergency session of the Galactic Council, the first that humans had ever been invited to attend, was about to begin. Nervous? Chen asked, sipping from a cup of coffee. Concerned, Ilara replied honestly. We've forced their hand. They won't forget that. Good, Chen said simply. They never took us seriously before. 30,000 lives were dismissed as an unfortunate incident, not worth meaningful action or change. Now they'll remember that humanity demands the same respect given to other spacefaring civilizations. Ilara nodded slowly. And if they demand access to our technology, the dimensional folding, JÖRMUNGANDR itself, they can demand all they want. Chen responded with a thin smile. But as we've now joined the ranks of major powers, we're entitled to our technological secrets, just as they keep theirs. A chime sounded, indicating it was time to depart for the council session. As they turned to leave, Ilara caught sight of the Midgard fleet in formation around JÖRMUNGANDR. The massive structure, part space station, part dimensional gateway, hung against the backdrop of stars, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. You know, she said quietly, in Norse mythology, JÖRMUNGANDR was a serpent so large it encircled the entire world. Fitting, isn't it? Chen replied. Our JÖRMUNGANDR doesn't encircle a world, it changes the galaxy. As they walked toward the shuttle bay, crew members snapped to attention. The atmosphere throughout the fleet had transformed from tense anticipation to quiet pride. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not as supplicants, but as equals. Do you think New Anchorage would approve of what we've done? Ilara asked, the faces of the lost colonists still fresh in her memory. Chen paused, his expression softening slightly. I think they would understand. We haven't sought vengeance. We've sought recognition and security. The right to exist without being considered expendable. That's worth fighting for. The shuttle departed the Retribution, carrying them toward the council station, where the future of galactic politics would be reshaped. Behind them, JÖRMUNGANDR continued its silent vigil, a reminder to all species that humanity would no longer be ignored. In the vastness of space, among ancient civilizations and mighty empires, a young species had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same.